Join us as we run for Psychedelics, the most disruptive piece of technology in the world. The entire brain is active, 80% of your brain. This is the limitless drug. Welcome to this week's episode. Today we're going to do a product review of all of the major psychedelics. The first one is ketamine. This is a very special psychedelic compound because it's different than the others. It's not a hallucinogenic, it's a dissociative. And what that means is it's actually separating your left and right brain and allowing them to communicate without your ego getting involved. An incredible amount can happen when that's the case. Ketamine is a crystal. Unlike other plant matter and maybe things that are created in a lab, ketamine is actually derived from salts and minerals. They put them together and a new ketamine crystal occurs. And that crystal, what's exciting about it is it's uniform against billions of molecules. The other psychedelics that are plant-based, those are affected by the soil, how they were grown, who harvested them, the whole process. The ketamine crystal is exactly the same every single time. The ketamine lasts about 35 to 45 minutes. And during that time, you have this incredible experience of being disconnected from your human self. And you're able to explore other dimensions. You are able to revisit things in history and go forward into the future. It's a very powerful compound. It's used hundreds of thousands of times a day in emergency rooms across the country. And they found out that a low dose of ketamine can even break depression, anxiety, PTSD. So this is the only FDA approved psychedelic right now, and it's probably the easiest one to access for Western society. It is a game changer. These are brain scans. You can see the green is where there's regular brain activity taking place, and the red is where there's extra brain activity happening. This is on psilocybin mushrooms, and you can see there's a lot of activity in the back of the brain. Next is LSD. Look at all that activity in the brain. You can see it's really firing and taking over there. However, this is ketamine. You can see the entire brain is active, 80% of your brain. This is the limitless drug. They haven't declared it yet, but you can see 80% of the brain is lit up. These areas right here, they're basically just how you breathe and you grow your hair and you digest food. But all of this activity in the brain means that you are turning on your brain in a way that you just can't do without a biohack of nature. The next psychedelic we're covering is LSD. And people have heard about this for years. It has a reputation for being a far out psychedelic, and it is. People always say, oh, I don't want to do that because that's a chemical. Well, it's actually synthesized from bacteria on a rye seed. And that's how they found it originally. It occurs in nature. Now they've synthesized it so that we can have it and it can be uniform at all points. But this is a natural compound. The effects are going to last for several hours. This is a very powerful hallucinogenic. It can be auditory, visual hallucinations happening, and you really have to be ready for this. You want to be in the right set and setting, ideally with somebody who can guide you through the different points of the journey. But LSD was used back in the 50s by psychiatrists. It was having incredible effect, and now is the time to bring LSD back into the mental health scene. The next compound we're covering here is psilocybin mushrooms. And these are occurring everywhere in nature. There's over 100 psychedelic types of mushrooms that exist. And so, as you can see here, there's two molecules that you're seeing. The first one over here is psilocybin, the raw mushroom. And when you take that raw mushroom and it goes into your digestive system, your stomach, your liver, and it's processed, it then turns into psilocin. And psilocin is very interesting because that is the active ingredient that causes all of the effects. What's beautiful about being alive today is that you can actually just take psilocin. You basically bypass the stomach. You don't have to go through all of that digestion and processing. You go right to the experience. Mushrooms usually last about 5 or 6 hours. Depending how much you take, it can be very powerful. You will have an absolutely mind-boggling experience. The next molecule we're talking about is DMT. And DMT, it happens to occur naturally in everything. It's in this table, it's in my jacket. DMT is everywhere. But if you give yourself a high dose of DMT, it causes a psychedelic experience that's very powerful. They say that before you die, there's a huge release of DMT in the brain. You're basically smoking this DMT, and it hits almost immediately. As quickly as you are blowing out the smoke, all of a sudden you realize, my God, it's hitting me already. The DMT, most people describe it as going, into another dimension. How much DMT you smoke is how deep the trip's gonna go. Usually one hit, you're gonna have this really interesting experience with geometric patterns and things. 2 hits, you're gonna go deeper. Terence McKenna, the master of DMT, always said, if you can get yourself to take the 3rd hit of DMT, you're gonna break through that membrane and you may find yourself in a world with magical elves and all kinds of crazy things happening. This is an incredible psychedelic because it only lasts for 5 or 10, 15 minutes. This is incredible because you can do it and it's over quickly and you come back. It's almost like it never happened. It's like a lucid dream. But people say that the dimension you go to is real. It feels as real as this dimension. So we have to study this. Don't be afraid of it. Get yourself in the right set and setting and try DMT. The next compound we're going to talk about is ayahuasca. And ayahuasca, most people don't know this, but it's actually a combination of 2 different compounds. It is the vine of one plant and the leaf of another. And the vine of ayahuasca has the DMT in it. That's what's going to cause the effect. Most people explain the energy of ayahuasca as being very feminine, like their grandmother being with them, giving them a safe hug. And for that reason, it's called Mother Ayahuasca. You can have a near-death experience, you can have all kinds of visiting the past and the future, but you always feel like Mother Ayahuasca, the spirit is there with you, so it's very gentle. And ayahuasca should always be done with a shaman, a guide, somebody that knows how to work with the medicine. Make sure you have good ayahuasca, very clean, because the more of the plant matter that's in there, the less clean it is, the more it's going to affect your stomach and possibly disrupt your journey. So make sure you've got good product, get yourself in a good set and setting, and go visit Mother Ayahuasca. The next psychedelic we're going to talk about is Ibogaine. And this is the grandfather, the big daddy, the one that's going to show you everything. But they say it's affecting every single area of the brain. And you can see this structure over here. This is a very interesting structure over here. This is going to be taken orally, and it comes from a root that grows in Africa. They scrape the root into a bark, they put the powder into a pill, you swallow it, and you have a 12 to 36 hour experience. Incredibly powerful. It's been proven to break even a heroin addiction, a gambling addiction, alcohol, opiates, crack, meth, whatever it is. Ibogaine, 1 session is gonna break it. And they even say that this molecule, taken in a microdose, can reverse Parkinson's disease. Join us next time where we explore more about psychedelics. We delve into how people are using these for mental health, addiction, and peak performance. I'm here at the Mind Army headquarters to show you the most disruptive piece of technology in the world. This is a water machine. It's actually making water from the air. And this disrupts the entire plastic water bottle industry. And what's happening is inside of here, there's fans pulling the air in. It goes through the machine, a cold coil in there. That condensation comes down here into the filter. It's filtered out and then remineralized in this water. So when you drink this, you're drinking some of the most pure oxygenated water, and you're making it yourself. I mean, this is shocking. It tastes amazing, and the fact that we're making our own water makes us almost invincible into the future. Water's about to be the most important natural resource in the world, and you can no longer trust the water that comes from the ground. That's what they're not telling you. That water that comes from Mountain Valley or one of these streams or glaciers, that has microplastics, it has things like lithium that they don't even test for. I mean, this is scary to drink the groundwater. I don't think you can. Fertilizers, pesticides, but when that water goes from a gas to a liquid, that's when it's pure. So you want to grab it then, filter it, remineralize it, and I want to convince you to go into the water business right now. So stay tuned to the Mind Army, and we're going to show you how you're about to get into the water business. Welcome to Running for Psychedelics. We're going to be around the country, and we invite you to join us as we run for psychedelics. We show the public that this is a normal peak performance, the thing that everybody needs, and so we hope you'll join us. We're going to be showing up at events and races and running. One of the things I do that allows me to stay in peak performance, and many athletes, is to use biohacks of nature, simple biohacks of nature. And so for me, that is a microdose mushroom and a little bit of water, and then to be able to train longer, to treat it more like a meditation, go deeper and get more out of that. So for me, this is how I run for psychedelics. I'm on psychedelics. We hope to see you in your city. Come run with us, come show your support, come run for psychedelics or on psychedelics. See you there. After a microdose and run, there's nothing better than a fresh juice. And here in Delray, everybody knows squeezed is the freshest and the coolest. This is Joe Juice, as he's known. But squeezed is a really important part of our Running for Psychedelics movement. These guys have the most incredible network of high conscious people in town that are all part of the Squeezed family. So thank you for being behind us.
Yeah,
and
thank you for the invite.
really
Thank you for
appreciate
being
it.
here.
Tell me what kind of juices you brought today.
We have everything from charcoal lemonades, sea moss, fire and ice, which is turmeric and ginger with pineapple, very healing, great for inflammation, great for mineral absorption, skin glow, pineapple, apple, carrot, ginger, another fan favorite, very popular with kids. Just touch the ginger in it. It's a little bit on the sweet side, but
Nice.
tons of healing
And
properties.
then on the end, my favorite of
chocolate,
all.
chocolate maca, yeah, cashew milk, cacao, maca powder, pea and hemp protein.
Totally vegan,
yeah,
amazing
this is-
plant-based.
yeah.
Wow, oh, I gotta have this. But right after the run, I gotta hit one of these green juices. A lot of people in Delray get their juices dropped off, and some people have lost 40 pounds and all kinds of amazing healing. So if you're in Delray, get a squeezed. Check us out on the road as we run for psychedelics, and we'll see you out on the road. Peace.